The Republican Party is quickly beginning to realize that governing requires more than just talking out your ass, and while I find them an effective opposition party that obstructed Obama from implementing even the most moderate parts of his agenda, well, they're beginning to realize that governing is a lot harder than it looks. And now that they're in control of all three branches of government, the spotlight's on them, so if people are dissatisfied with government, they know who to blame. But even though they want the power, they don't want any of the accountability and the scrutiny that comes along with it. So, case in point, Senator Lisa Murkowski was asked a really simple question by a journalist, and she literally got up in his face and scolded him like a child. I'm not joking about this.
Can you support the House health care bill at this moment?
Would you give me a minute to get to my constituents, please?
Just a yes or no, do you support the House health care bill?
Would you please be respectful?
I'm being
I've been sitting there for 2 hours. Come on.
Wow. Lisa, you do know that in the time it took you to stop, turn around, and backtrack, and then get in that reporter's face, you could have just spent less time answering the question, because it was a pretty straightforward question, if you ask me. But instead, you decided to waste more time being condescending and talking down to that reporter like he was a kid, rather than just saying yes or no. You decided to embarrass yourself. I don't get it. But I mean, Lisa Murkowski isn't the only Republican who is deciding to throw a temper tantrum in public. So Representative Joe Barton of Texas decided to get lippy with his constituents, and it was great to watch because even though he embarrassed himself, they quickly put him in his place.
Now, given your voting record opposing legislation protecting women from violence, will you make a commitment to us today, make a promise that you will reach out to Congresswoman Jackie Spear and work with her to see this bill successfully through Congress?
Let me comment on a number of things there. On the first bill that I voted against, that's a true statement. And I voted against it because I think that's a state issue, not a federal issue. They're all
No. Civil rights don't go to states.
No, if it's violence against women, that's a national issue.
Right,
That
that's
is an
not
issue
state.
that impacts everyone, everywhere, not only in this country, but everywhere.
Civil rights.
State of Texas. You represent Texas
You
first.
shut up.
What is that? What is that? You don't tell anybody to shut up. You work for us.
You shut up.
What the hell did you just say?
He's against violence against women bills because that's a state issue, not a federal issue. Okay, that's a cop-out, because in other words, what you're really saying is, I don't care enough about violence against women, so I'm going to delegate that responsibility to the states, and if we are dealing with a state that doesn't want to protect women from violence, then, I'm sorry, they're just going to have to petition their local government.
What's his moral barometer? Where is it at? It's nowhere.
Why are you part of the federal government if you don't think that it has any responsibility in regulating the states? I mean, have you not heard of the Supremacy Clause? Violence against women, to say that this is a states' rights issue, that's completely idiotic. And someone said correctly so that civil rights don't go to the states. It's not a states issue. Civil rights are guaranteed. And I think that protecting women from violence is something that the federal government should take an interest in. But the fact that he decided to say, this is just the states' rights issue, it was embarrassing. Now, he literally told someone to shut up. That was the most crazy part of this video. He said, "You, sir, shut up." Really? And then the response is, you don't tell anyone to shut up. You work for us. And that was great. And I tried to look for the rest of the video, if there is, a second part to that, where we can see the backlash and just the aftermath beyond, that short couple of seconds, but I couldn't find it. But wow, he's telling his constituents who pay for his salary through their tax dollars to shut up because he refuses to address violence against women. If there's an easily winnable issue, it's violence against women. How many people in the country are actually in favor of violence for women? I mean, I can't find anybody. But apparently this guy, if you don't want to address violence against women, then apparently you're complicit in it. And then you get pissy when people call you out. Makes no sense to me. This makes absolutely zero sense. this is a winnable issue. You can look like a hero if you support preventing violence against women, but you won't even do that. Unbelievable. But, you talk about states' rights. I'm sure you would vote against gay marriage. I'm sure you would vote against marijuana legalization. So you're not consistent on states' rights. You're a cherry picker. You support states' rights when it benefits you, and you reject the idea of states' rights if you think that, a woman wants to have an abortion. You don't think that she should be allowed to have that autonomy for herself. You think the federal government needs to intrude upon that right. So, these Republicans are consistently proving to be cowards, and now they've just resorted to throwing temper tantrums in public. Do you not realize that you guys have been governing now for 3 months, and you're looking horrible? You have no clue what you're doing. So, like I said, they're a great opposition party. They can obstruct presidents from doing what they want to do and carrying out their agenda, but when it comes to governing, they are completely clueless, and quite frankly, I'm really enjoying watching this.
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.